shortly. And now we're going to get to a very popular question, I'm sure for the audience, which is, I've heard that UChicago has very unique essay prompts. Could you share what prompt you chose and how you wrote that essay and what you wrote it about?
Yeah, I can take that one. Writing the UChicago essay was one of my favorite things ever. The way I approached it is that you should treat it like a creative writing assignment that needs to say something about you, more so than just a traditional college essay. Yeah, I really like it. If you like writing the prompts, UChicago will be the right school for you. The prompt I chose is Dorothy follows the yellow brick road. Neo takes the red pill. Describe not a world, but rather its portal. I haven't memorized because I actually met the guy who wrote the question. They get their questions from students. So I was trying to think about what's some sort of like journey or path I've taken and decided to interpret that in two ways. One is like a metaphorical journey, and one is also like a literal journey or path, or like a trip that's been taken. So I wrote my essay about my experience with technology where I don't have Facebook, I don't have Instagram, and I created in like an apocalyptic world where random people were transported. That was the path they were pulled to another world if they logged on to Facebook. And it eventually ended up being just me and my grandma surviving all alone. And then she created a Facebook account and disappeared. It was just me alone and like struggling what it means to come to terms with technology, how you deal with your identity, how it affects society, different things like that. I loved writing it. The only thing I would say is also you can be creative in your prompts outside of just the UChicago special essay. For example, I think one of my best essays was actually my "Why do you want to attend UChicago?" essay, where this is one of my favorite things. I wrote to UChicago. I wrote a letter to Albus Dumbledore explaining why I had to go and reject Hogwarts and why I couldn't attend because I just had to go to UChicago. And I think putting a creative twist on your essay and really making it just stand out, like I believe that's why I got in. That is the number one thing to do. So that's my take.
Yeah, writing the essays is definitely one of the most fun parts of the application process, and it really differentiates from other schools because UChicago doesn't have the typical questions where, well, they have why do you want to come there, but that, as Aton showed, can come into many different varieties. But it's not just a systematic equation of, oh, does this person have this? Does this person want this? It's really up to you what prompt you want to choose and how you want to work with it. And there's also the ability to write your own prompt and respond to that. So there's really an unlimited source of your applications. Personally, the prompt I chose was writing a letter to an inanimate object on or in Earth. And I actually, being a chemistry nerd, I wrote a letter to helium, and I actually shaped my essay in the form of a balloon. So it looked like a balloon when you're reading it. And basically what I wrote about is helium is an element that is super amazing on Earth. Not only does it change our voices, it also is in the sun and very important to our solar system. So, but unfortunately, the source of helium is depleting significantly on Earth, and it'll eventually fade away. So I was writing a letter to helium asking it to come back to Earth and help us gain laughter at parties and in certain applications of scientific methods. And initially, I actually wrote the essay starting with "Dear He," which is the chemical symbol for helium, just so to prompt the reader to keep reading to find out who he is. But he is helium. So yeah.
So I chose my prompt. I'm pretty sure this might not be the exact wording, but the prompt that I chose was explain something that's so bad it's good. And so what I chose to write about is my undying love for lowbrow teen soap drama television, basically anything the CW has ever aired. And so, it wasn't like very deep or profound about, myself or anything like that. But I was just sort of mounting a defense of enjoying sort of lowbrow culture, popular culture, sort of things that, aren't considered high art, but are just immensely entertaining. And, sort of my take on why I think that that's valuable and why I think that maybe it's meaningful beyond what we give it credit for. So I was just talking about something that I love, but, doesn't normally get sort of credit for being an intellectual subject. And so I had a lot of fun doing it. Like, again, it wasn't, a rigorous intellectual inquiry or excavation of my, true inner self, but it was fun. And I think that, it must have been interesting enough that they liked it. So that's what I did.
So I wrote, first of all, those are all really cool essays. And I did not know that people were writing such cool essays, but it makes mine seem meager compared to those. But I wrote my prompt on what is something that you love in spite of its flaws. And I've always enjoyed writing, and I've always enjoyed learning more about language. I'm studying Spanish as my major, but I wrote about English language and how there are many flaws in the English grammar system, but I enjoyed learning about them nonetheless.